Listen, you don't follow somebody from her apartment, drive all the way out here, scare her by shooting directly at the driver.
4 times.
Seriously?
In this moment, 54-year-old Stanley Zeliga senses the tables turning as detectives point out the evidence straight at him. He's accused of murdering 22-year-old Abigail Saldana, a young mother he once claimed to love. But what began as infatuation quickly spiraled into fatal obsession. Now, with damning evidence closing in, Stanley clings to denial, casting himself not as a killer, but as a victim of fate.
Because I called her on a lie, and there was no way that I should have known about the lie.
We have 45 shell casings at the scene.
And we have 45 ammunition.
You guys have the weapons, don't you?
As the investigation unfolds, the detectives use their sharp skills to extract a confession. But will they be able to uncover the real motive behind Abigail's murder? Was it truly a misguided attempt to scare the victim, or love that spiraled into something darker and vengeful?
I probably started drinking too much, and I fell asleep.
What you just said makes perfect sense to me. Love and alcohol equals dumb shit.
On the night of October 26, 2021, the Fort Worth, Texas Police Department received a disturbing 911 call from a witness who reported encountering a silver sedan speeding and crashing on an exit ramp. As the witness approached the car, he noticed bullet holes in the passenger side and saw that the person inside was drenched in blood and unresponsive. When the officers arrived at the crime scene, they identified the victim as Abigail Saldana, who's pronounced dead at the scene. The investigators discovered Abigail's passport and clothing in the car, typically similar to nightclub performers. Nearby, the officers located Rick's strip club and visited there to confirm if Abigail really worked at the establishment. The club manager confirmed that Abigail was employed there, but he also revealed that she was stressed out due to being stalked and harassed by a man named Stanley Zeliga. Just a few days before the murder, on October 14, 2021, Abigail had discovered a tracking device on her car and had posted a video on Instagram warning that someone was stalking her. Police tracked down Stanley and obtained a search warrant for his home. However, when he refused to show up, the officers found him on the balcony with self-inflicted injuries on his neck and face. He was immediately transported to the hospital. After receiving medical treatment, Stanley, still wrapped in bandages, was taken into custody.
That you posted like a lot of stuff on social media dealing with and all of that kind of stuff, and maybe you were a victim of all of that?
Or maybe we both were.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about that.
I think the strip clubs might be notorious for having rooms dedicated to that opportunity.
Okay.
Okay. So Abby moves from, where did she come from? Well, one club to another, eventually to the one in Fort Worth.
Okay. When you say Abby,
So
do you know
I
her
sort of
full
followed
name?
her.
When you say Abby, do you know, like, what's her real name?
Yeah, it's
It's
Abigail.
Abigail, do you know her last name?
Saldana.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we were talking about the same girl.
We've, how do you even phrase that? We've known each other for months.
Okay.
Okay.
And you met her at one club, and then you followed her to another club. Is that what you were saying?
She quit one club and then went to Baby Dolls, where they required her to work 3 days a week, but she couldn't accommodate the request, nor could she accommodate the request to come in specific days of the week. So she left that club and went to the one in, I don't even know what city that is. I think it is Fort Worth proper, but I'm not sure.
Okay, what's the name of the club?
Rick's Cabaret.
Okay.
And she was called there by one of the previous managers that she worked with over at Spearmint Rhino.
Okay. So did you meet her at Baby Dolls? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
even before that.
Okay. Where did you originally meet her?
It's right off California Crossing. Buck's Cabaret.
Okay. Off of California Crossing?
California Crossing.
Okay. Do you remember about when that was that you first met her?
If we have my phone, I can tell you.
Are we talking about years ago, months ago?
No, months, ma'am.
Okay.
But if we have, do you have the document? Do you have any printouts from what you're referring to before as my posting on Instagram? Because that has the exact July 3rd, the 3rd of July or the 4th of July, one of those two.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
So sometime in July, beginning of July is when you met her at Bucks. Okay. And then you also brought up Spearmint Rhino?
She worked at Spearmint Rhino prior to Bucks even, but I didn't, that was 2018.
Okay. And she was called by a manager to come work at
Rick's Cabaret.
Okay. And so you followed her over to continue y'all's relationship or whatnot?
That was a relation.
Y'all's interactions?
Sure.
Okay. At Bucks.
I'm sorry.
I
thought it was a relationship.
Okay.
I think she did at one time too, because she put her dancer name. Okay, she put her. I have a whiteboard at the apartment. If it's still there, I don't know. But yeah, if you go there and take a photo, it says Amara loves you with a heart. Maybe that was just silly, but she wrote it.
Okay.
So I don't know. Again, we're going back to, was it a relationship or was it not? I don't know that it was fake, real, or.
Did you believe that it was real?
Yes.
Okay, and you're now questioning whether she believed it was real or not.
Stanley's statement reveals how his relationship with Abigail evolved into something deeper. Despite believing they were in a relationship, his love for her gradually began to transform into obsession. The uncertainty about her feelings consumed him with rage and resentment, the very emotions that would eventually erupt and lead to life-altering consequences. And now, in just a few seconds, Stanley is about to unveil the unsettling truth that ultimately spiraled his love into obsession.
Well, I was questioning that a little bit ago, yeah.
When did you start questioning?
Weeks ago, when I ran into a whole bunch of lies and posted.
Tell me about that.
Everything from lying about, to her whereabouts to dating other people and things like that.
Okay, so you
But
thought
I think everyone does. Maybe, I don't.
Okay, so you felt like y'all were exclusive. Like maybe she was only having sex with you.
Definitely part 2, yes. But exclusive, I don't.
Okay, so then you found out she was having sex with other people? And that hurt your feelings? Okay. How did it make you feel?
Discouraging, I guess.
Okay. Did y'all talk about it?
We talked about it in person, but no, I never sent her a text in regards to that topic, yeah.
Okay. How did y'all's conversation go?
Are you seeing other people? And, her initial response is no. And then I found out that was untrue. And then she said, because she needed to be private.
How did you find out?
Is it a lie?
Right. How did you find out about those lies?
There was a hotel involved. A hotel in downtown Dallas, where she got off. She worked at another job on Fridays and Saturdays. There was a cocktail waitress at Ibiza, Ibiza, where I went a couple of times, just to say hi and blah blah blah. But yeah, she got off work and went immediately with some guy to a hotel. I forgot exactly which hotel it is, though.
How did you know that?
She told me.
Okay. So did you show up at the hotel?
No.
You called her after the fact?
After the fact, we tried to discuss it.
And how did that go?
Well, lie and truth and lie and truth, so, not well.
Okay.
I mean, nothing. Are you asking about violence or something?
No.
No, okay.
Do you know who the guy was that she was with? No. You had never seen him before?
I still don't know. I don't have a picture. I don't have, a name, nothing.
Did they have?
I don't know for sure, but they were there for 3 hours, so I don't know.
Did you ask her?
No. I didn't want to know the answer, and I still don't want to know the answer.
I gotcha. What else?
I don't know. Just, other silly stuff. I'll be in Wichita Falls this weekend, and she's actually here. I don't. Just silly, stupid things. that mount up and just turn into more lies, so that's really about it.
Did those things like happen over a couple of weeks?
No, I think probably longer than that.
Okay. When was the last time that y'all were together and it was good before she started telling lies?
It was really always good until maybe the lie started maybe 3, 4, or 5 weeks ago, someplace around there. So it was good from July, August, September. What month is this? October?
It's October. So
let's call it that, those 3 months. July, August, September.
You put a lot of information out on social media.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all's conversations, a lot of the payments that you made to her, those kind of things. What was the deal with that?
Well, she's claiming that it never happened, and I think we both knew that it did, and I had all the texting, and she probably does on her phone too, of what really happened.
Okay. Did she make any claims about you putting a tracker on her car?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's true.
That's true. Like, how did you go about doing that?
At Ibiza,
Mm-hmm.
I simply put it underneath it. I think it might be the gas tank back there, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
Just underneath the back, underneath the car.
Where did you get that tracking device from?
They're available on the web. I don't know exactly. It might have been Amazon.
Okay. So you got on Amazon and you ordered it. Do you remember how much it cost?
Yeah, it's like $29.
And how were you able to track her? Did you have to register for something, or did it just like an app on your phone?
It's an app on the phone.
Okay. And so it would just like give you notifications or something?
Of like speeding events and location events, yeah.
Okay. And so is that how you knew like she was at a hotel
No,
or she wasn't in Wichita Falls?
Yes.
Those kind of things that you were talking
So
about?
one, no regarding the hotel, because she actually, told me about that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Wichita Falls and other just lies.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Stanley portrays himself as a victim to justify his actions, trying to convince the detectives that he has been betrayed. However, he unknowingly exposes his stalking behavior and his delusional perception of their relationship, genuinely believing that Abigail loved him, despite clear signs to the contrary.
So was it on there for a couple weeks, a couple days?
No. So with the app that's associated with the tracker
Mm-hmm.
is also a percentage. So it's a battery, basically. The tracker has a battery,
Okay.
which obviously drains because it needs to be recharged. But she discovered the device on the vehicle and while she was in Wichita Falls. And I think it was, and I say this because I believe the tracker only lasts for 2 weeks. So
Okay.
it was within 2 week time frame.
Okay. Did the battery die on it?
No, I think it was down to 11 or 12%. So no, it didn't die. It hadn't died yet.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, like, do you remember the app that you
It's on
used to track it?
It's on my phone.
You don't remember what it was called?
No.
Okay.
They're all these apps are like colorized nowadays, so you don't actually have to read anything.
I gotcha.
It's just like phone numbers, you don't have to memorize the phone number anymore. You just need to know the name.
Sure. Did she call you when she found the tracker? Like,
Yeah.
why did she think that it was you that put the tracker on her car?
Because I called her on a lie, and there was no way that I should have known about the lie unless, I was either following her. Right.
Okay. And so did you admit to her that you were following her?
I wasn't following her. Well, physically or with the tracker.
With the tracker?
Yes.
Okay. And she didn't like that. So she started posting stuff about you on Instagram, and
Yeah,
in
that's
return, you started posting stuff about her.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. What did you do after she took the tracker off of her car? How were you able to know where she was at?
I didn't.
Did you run into her at all afterwards?
We probably saw each other twice after the tracker was located,
Mm-hmm.
but that's it.
Where was that at?
Once definitely at Rick's and once at my apartment.
Okay. What, was there an event or something going on at Rick's
She's just,
when you ran into her?
no, she called me and said she would be there.
So you went up there to go see her. And how did that go?
Sort of like oil and vinegar with us. At times it was perfectly fine. And other times it wasn't. So it surprisingly went well.
Hey, can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of stuff here, but one of the things that I'm seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, you love this girl.
I know.
Okay. That's pretty clear. Okay. I think that's important. All right.
But yeah. We can go back to the cell phone and, what was I going to say? I stated on numerous occasions to her that I wish she was older and that I was younger, because then we could probably make it work. So,
Let me ask you this. Do you think she loved you?
originally, yes.
I
But
can tell you why I would think it. It's
But then
because of
the
things
age
she's done before.
difference,
You said she wrote that deal on the board?
yes, it's on one of these.
So it's fair to say that you would think she was in love with you. She's doing stuff like that.
Yeah, go grab us. It's on my phone too. I took a picture of it, but it's her writing. Well, okay, you're right. It's a female's writing.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
Well, you know who wrote it.
I do,
Yeah.
and she knows who wrote it.
Yeah,
She's
you know who wrote it. You know who wrote it.
You've gotten word that Abby's...
and
Is that who you called me to tell me that you had a loss in the family?
yes,
Okay.
Stanley's behavior of tracking Abigail's actions and posting their personal details on Instagram reveals a clear pattern of control and manipulation. His obsession was his way of holding on to the reality he couldn't accept was slipping away. As the detectives question him about the day Abigail was killed, he fabricates his story to divert suspicion. However, he is unaware that the detectives are armed with potential evidence against him and are ready to close in on him.
So where were you at the night that Abby was killed?
at home.
What were you doing at home?
Having beer,
Were you
vodka,
there with
probably
anybody?
both. Unfortunately, no. I live by myself, my kid. So my son
Uh-huh.
lives in Rockwall, and Jennifer lives up in Spokane.
Okay.
So, and I'm divorced, so it's just me, myself, and I, usually on a regular basis.
So Abby was killed on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, so do you remember Tuesday? It was Tuesday, October 26th. Okay. What did you do on Tuesday?
Watch TV, the same thing I do every night.
All day?
No, I do some work and things like that, but
Did you leave your house at all?
grocery store, probably, yes. I think that's about it.
What grocery store did you go to?
I always go to the same one, so it's in Las Colinas, right off MacArthur, Whole Foods.
Do you remember about what time you would have gone to Whole Foods?
Between 5 and somewhere after 5.
Okay. So what time do you think you returned home?
Oh, within 45 minutes. So
Okay.
about by 6, I would imagine.
And you didn't leave the house after that?
I'd watch a lot of TV.
Where do you live? You said Irving, right? Okay, I know I called it Dallas. I mean.
Right off
But let me ask you this.
Lake
This
Carolina
happened in
Parkway.
Fort Worth, okay? So, were you ever in Fort Worth on that night? Okay, not at all. Okay. That you can't be two places at once. That's why we're asking. Okay.
And have only one vehicle, especially. Which
Okay,
is
what kind of vehicle?
Ford F-150, red.
Okay, red. Okay. Okay.
And you obviously understand what you're under arrest for, right? Has that been explained to you?
No. Oh, murder. But that's it. That's the single statement that they used.
Oh, okay.
Is that
So,
enough?
what?
Well, I think they would tell me more information than just that one statement.
Okay.
You're under arrest for murder.
Do you know whose murder that is?
So originally I thought, so Wednesday, I really don't have a recollection of what happened on Wednesday after Mike took over my phone, and I don't know if it was we or just I started drinking the Hennessy. What was I answering? I'm sorry.
Whose murder you're under arrest for?
Okay. So when I went into, when I was booked into the jail here, they weren't certain whose murder it was either. So I thought it was Mike's, because I thought maybe we went for a drive, or maybe I don't remember what happened on Wednesday after we started on the Hennessy.
Well, let's do this, because I don't want you to be confused about what we're talking about, okay? You're under arrest for Abigail's murder, all right?
That's not impossible.
No? Hear us out.
Okay.
Hear us out. Because, believe it or not, there's a reason why we
Okay.
wanted to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay? This makes a little bit more sense to us, what we're looking at. I can tell you right now, we look at video, we can see video. We can see what people do, we can't see what people think.
Okay.
Okay? But I can tell you this, after being in your apartment, after seeing the text, after seeing all this stuff, there's one thing that's clear, and that's you love her. Okay? No doubt. And you know what? There's been people sitting in that exact seat who've done some dumb things because of love. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They've done some dumb things because of love. Okay?
Or they haven't.
You're right. But I can tell you this. There's no doubt 100% that you did this. No doubt. Okay? I can't unsee what we see. But what we can do is get an explanation as to why this may have happened. So Stan, listen. We're not here to drag you through something real horrible and a horrible scene and stuff like that. We're not here to show you gross pictures. That's all TV, okay? All we're trying to do is give you an opportunity to tell us what happened, to give us the reason as to
This is
why
like
this
the
happened.
same event that I'm referring to on Wednesday. I probably started drinking too much, and I fell asleep.
Well, here's the thing. You're not under arrest for killing Mike. Mike's alive.
No, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
But let me say this. What you just said makes perfect sense to me. Love and alcohol equals dumb equals doing bad things, okay? Now I can tell you this. Let me say this, Stan. We looked at who you are, okay? Obviously, we're homicide detectives. We're going to do a thorough job.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at who you are. You don't look like some cold-blooded killer to me. I mean, I understand you're in the Marine Corps. That's a different ballgame. That's a different deal. But what it looks like to us is that this girl played you, and you got pissed, okay? And you mixing alcohol and stuff like that, that makes for doing bad, stupid stuff that you can't take back.
Well, we've always been doing the bad, stupid stuff.
No, I understand that. But we have levels of bad, stupid stuff, okay?
Okay.
Here, killing somebody's up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So listen, man, I can tell you this. We have to ask you, or we want to ask you a bunch of questions, because these are the questions that the people who make decisions on this is going to ask us, okay? We're not the kind of detectives where we go, yeah, we got it, throw them in jail, throw away the key. We always do the same thing every single time, and we give you an opportunity to tell us your side. That's the only way we can do this and be fair.
Okay.
The detectives provide Stanley with concrete evidence, cornering him into a final chance at honesty. Despite this, Stanley tries to remain calm and cooperative. However, his body language reveals a different story. Avoiding eye contact and his composed demeanor visibly wavering suggests he has realized that his dark secret is no longer hidden. His outward calmness and internal anxiety reveal what his body already betrays. He is fully aware that the evidence against him is overwhelming, and his facade has ultimately collapsed.
Did you get rid of any of your weapons?
No, I have two weapons.
Okay.
An AR-15
Okay.
and a 9mm.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's not talk about what we can see. Let's talk about just your apartment. Why would you have 45 ammo?
No, I have 50 cal. I think I have 40 cal.
You have 45 cal.
So let me explain something to you. That's not why you're under arrest. Okay, so think about this for a second.
Sure.
When they're going to ask us, is Stan being straight? Because I go, here, I know Stan did it, here's why. They go, okay, what did Stan say? Well, Stan said he blacked out. Let me tell you something about blacking out, okay? Because this is very important. It happens every single time. Before I was a homicide detective, I was an assault detective, okay? And in those assault, those allegations, when I didn't know, I had her story and I had his story, right? And a lot of times in her story, she may have said she blacked out or she passed out, let's say. Because there's a difference between blacking out and passing out.
Okay.
Okay? Now, passing out, you're not doing nothing. You can't. You're laying there, like unconscious almost. Blacked out, you're doing things and you just don't remember, okay? So you might know what you're doing right then, but you don't remember. Now, I can tell you this about guys who, I'm talking about, and I'm not calling you at all, but I'm just telling you a story here. Quite often, when I would talk to, they would have all these nice, juicy details before, then the incident, then after. And this area right here is the only thing I cared about. And look how small them details are. Look how small them details are. Not only that, 90% of those people would say, I blacked out. And I can tell you right now, now, I'm not saying it's not possible for you to drink too much, but you and I both know you can't just blank this entire thing from your memory.
I don't know.
Okay? Well, listen, that's a hell of a move, being blacked out driving from Dallas to Fort Worth,
right,
committing murder, and going on home.
Despite knowing that the detectives are gradually closing in on him, Stanley remains unbothered. His attitude clearly indicates that he's convinced that he has complete control over the narrative.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you need to be fair with me because, like I said, man, these people care about your credibility. How am I supposed to tell them that when I asked Stan if he'd ever do this again, he said no? Well, who cares what Stan said, because Stan lied about X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, I'm not saying this is the most horrible thing that's ever happened in Fort Worth, okay? In fact, we just came off a case where we had 3 bodies chopped up in a dumpster. I don't know if you read anything about that.
No thanks.
Okay, well, that's a sick son of a who did that, okay? We're talking about human beings. You know, we have human beings like husbands, their wives cheat on them, they get pissed, and they kill the wife and kill the guy. That's a lot different than waking up and going, you know what, I'm going to go smoke my wife today. You see the difference?
Sure.
One of them's premeditated, right? And the other one is, I just lost my temper. I lost my temper at the moment, okay? Now, here's the thing. We see you following her, and we see what happened. So do me a favor and just start filming. Give me an opportunity that I can tell these people.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't believe you then.
Okay.
I just don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Right now?
Because no, then. Because you know exactly how you were feeling.
How was I feeling when I found out that she was passed away, or how was I feeling regarding all... Go ahead.
All those lies and what she had done to you and how she played you.
Well, I don't think she played me, right? It's just nature of that industry. It's not just the dancer who is
I hope
involved.
she made you feel a lot of ways, because ultimately you killed her because of how you felt.
I don't think I killed her.
Okay. Did you listen to anything he said?
Yes.
So listen, man. Hey, Stan.
No, I did.
Stan, listen to me. I'm not here to trick you, dude. Okay?
No, but if I don't remember...
Hang on a second. And there may be things you don't remember, okay? But you know what? How convenient is it that the only thing we're here to talk about that matters, you just don't remember that one part? You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
remember yesterday either. No, wait. Wednesday.
So let's talk about this.
Okay.
Before the incident happened on Tuesday,
Okay.
Is it fair to say you were drinking then?
Yes.
What were you drinking?
Vodka.
Okay. So would you agree with me if that I can prove... Forget the obvious, because I can see what happened. Forget the obvious. But if I could prove that your car was in Fort Worth following hers, wouldn't you say that's a bit damning?
Yes.
Okay. With that being said, Stan, again, I'm not here for me. She's not here for her. The case is done. The only thing that can change it is what you were thinking before this happened. If this thing was premeditated, or if there's something we missed in some of the videos that maybe you guys are screaming back and forth, or so, I don't know. But because all I can tell you right now, it don't look good here.
Sure.
It don't look good.
The detectives had discovered surveillance footage that showed Stanley's car closely following Abigail's vehicle 17 minutes before the shooting. Additional surveillance footage also spotted Stanley close to Abigail's apartment on at least 5 other occasions. clearly indicating he had indeed been stalking her. Moreover, the detective's strategic move to appear sympathetic to Stanley is an attempt to provoke a reaction to Abigail's betrayal. But the harder detectives press for the truth, the more Stanley tries to stay one step ahead, showing that he is not as easy to break as they originally thought.
Honestly,
Let me ask you this. Do you know how she died? Nobody told you. You know she died.
no, I didn't. I thought it was Mike originally. I thought we had gone drinking and driving on
Told
Wednesday.
me on the phone.
Okay,
already.
okay.
So listen, like I said, man, I'm not here to confuse you. In fact, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. And I can tell you right now. So let me go back to my question, because you do know about the murder, because you knew she was dead. You were sad. Okay. What did you hear about the murder?
That she was shot, but not where, a location or anything.
Okay, that's fair. But I can tell you this. The fact that you know that's fine. Okay? Like I said, I'm not here to trick you. But with that being said now, the shooting, you being in Fort Worth, us telling you we know you did this, come on, man, start trying to help me give you an opportunity to talk for yourself. Because right now, don't have me talk for you. Me talking to you makes it look like you premeditated this, you followed her until you found a good spot, and then you took care of business. That's how it looks.
Okay.
If there's more than that, I don't know why you wouldn't want to tell me. But you got to be straight with me here, man.
Whenever I used that device in the past, I never went to the location that she's at. So does that help?
The device doesn't matter because she had already moved it. So we're not talking about the device.
But just in general, I mean, it was never I'm going to use this device to...
Here's the good news.
Yeah.
Here's the good news, okay? You using that device, using that other device in your truck to basically stop her cell phone stuff. I've never heard of some of this stuff. It's pretty unique. But
It's a Wi-Fi canceller. It's not what you're referring to.
Whatever, man.
Okay.
I know how it's going to look. But I'm saying that goes to the fact that you did love her. That goes that you were kind of jealous. You know, I mean, that's not unheard of. Well, let me ask you this, because we haven't asked you. Why were you upset with her?
Probably the lies, just the lies.
So, but we say
otherwise we got along really well.
Hang on a second. We say things like she played you, and you don't seem to like that. So why? Because
I don't think she did play me.
So, well,
But she lied to you.
Right? I mean,
so when you're saying playing, I thought you meant all the money. Is that?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, no. I mean,
that's what I was referring to.
I'm talking about somebody saying, basically giving you reasons to think that she loves you, you love her, and all of a sudden she's lying to you. That's kind of being played is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the money, man.
Okay.
And meanwhile, she's stringing you along and taking your money.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Listen, that makes sense for us to say, well, that's why he did it. Duh. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But not what's in your soul, not what's in your heart. Go ahead, Leah. I'm sorry.
What do you remember?
What we already discussed, basically going to Whole Foods, grabbing some chow, coming back to the house and watching television.
Okay. The next morning, what happened? When you woke up, where were you?
On the couch, just in front of the TVs. Did you go to the apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the couch, and then it's situated towards the TV, mm-hmm. So I was laying on that portion of the couch.
What were you wearing?
I have no idea.
You don't remember what you were wearing?
I don't remember what I was wearing on Wednesday either. I mean, these days...
Were you naked?
I seriously doubt it.
Okay. So you had clothes on?
Yeah.
So I
don't even sleep naked.
Stan, you know how this plays out. Let me tell you how this plays out, okay?
I watch the TV shows, but...
No.
Okay.
I'm saying realistically. Screw TV shows. This is real life, okay? How this plays out is a jury's going to look at this, and the way we're going to present it is Stan's saying he don't remember what happened here. The night we come to talk to him and he gets arrested, he don't remember that day neither. Right. So Stan don't remember any of the parts that actually matter. He remembers other stuff where he's not doing something stupid, but the stuff he's doing, stupid stuff, he don't remember none of that. So here's the thing. Let me ask you this. How many guns do you own?
2.
Okay. When's the last time did you ever sell guns or anything like that?
Oh, back in California.
Okay. When did you sell a gun back in California?
Holy cow.
Long time ago.
Before 2014.
What kind of gun was that?
Oh my God, .357.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Never sold any other guns? Got rid of any
Probably
guns?
22. Probably.
Okay.
Probably 22s. Probably a .45. Maybe A shotgun?
Is this in
California
California?
has very strict gun laws.
Is it fair to say that's all in California?
Yes.
Despite detectives' relentless efforts, using strong evidence and offering multiple chances for Stanley to confess, he stubbornly denies all accusations. Recognizing that Stanley won't easily break, the detective shifts his tactics, using emotional manipulation to invoke feelings of guilt and provoke a confession.
Why would somebody take their empty 45 box from California to Texas? Answer that for me. I mean, listen,
Well,
I have stacks and stacks of questions like that. I don't necessarily care. I don't, because I can see what I can see. So me proving that you have a gun missing don't mean to me. We have you having the opportunity to actually act like a human being and show one of the questions that I can't even ask you yet. You know what that question has to do with?
What?
It has to do with remorse. It has to do with feeling bad about doing something bad. They care. Don't ask me why, but they care. Okay? Probably because we have such bad people doing bad things, we have to prioritize who is worse, who's better, who's a human being, who's the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that based upon your past and character?
It's based upon you in this room talking to us. That's what it's based upon. There's a difference in people's body language when they finally say, let me tell you, man, you know, if you loved her, this is not hard. If you loved her, this is not a hard conversation. I'm telling you, man, if you love her, you don't just unlove somebody that quick. That doesn't happen. I believe you that you love her. That's the one damn thing you said here today that I believe.
Sure.
Show me. Show me you love her. Nobody hurts themselves when they don't know what they did. Tell us what happened. Tell us why. Well, I kind of think I know why, but you gotta put us there, man. You gotta let us know.
What would a lawyer tell me to do?
I can't tell you that. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
But I can tell you this. I can tell you that I'm giving you an opportunity to speak for yourself. We don't like speaking for people, okay? We can speak for the dead, but I prefer not to speak for the living. That don't make sense to me.
What would a lawyer tell me to do?
I can't tell you what a lawyer would tell you to do. I'm not a lawyer. Stan, we can ask that question every single time. I'm asking you, and you know what I'm saying because I'm seeing it on your face that you get it. You know, no reasonable person is going to look at you and say, that guy didn't know what he did. It's all over your body that you know what you did. You were that upset with yourself that you hurt yourself. I mean, I don't know how close you came to killing yourself, but man, it looks like you did a number on yourself. Speak for yourself, man.
I don't remember doing any of this numbering thing on myself, just so you know.
Okay. I can tell you this. That's fine. But I can tell you this. You wouldn't hurt yourself unless you knew what you did. So that blacked out thing ain't going to play here. Come on, Stan, man. I can see it on your body. You're a guy who was in love, and you felt like she did you wrong. I get it.
I don't think so.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the love part, sure. But
okay, well,
get me wrong, I don't know.
Well, what are you talking about? Then why'd you do what you did?
Is it doing you wrong, or is it, I don't
know. No,
maybe that's the wrong phrase.
Well, here's the thing, man. Listen.
What phrase would you use? What'd she do to you?
I guess she didn't want to be with me.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's fair.
But that's not even true.
Hang on a second.
Because
you're right on the dot. You hit that on the head. I'm telling you why. We've been doing this long enough, okay? People who sit in that seat, guys who actually were in love, females who were in love. That's exactly what it is. They wanted that person so bad. They wanted that person so bad that they didn't actually want anybody else to have them. Now, I'm not going to speak for you. I'm not going to speak for you, okay? Because you keep going back and forth whether you're getting played or not. I mean, I don't know. You're kind of confusing me at that point.
Well, because I think I got played regarding the money, but not regarding her time, because I got plenty of her time.
Here's the thing. Sure. We're trying to figure out deep down and I'll give you this because this is believable.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol was probably a contributing factor.
Yes.
To this. I got no doubt about that.
Yes.
Okay, not to the point we don't know, to the point where your inhibitions are down, you start doing real stupid stuff. I'd probably say every time you did something a little stupid, you probably had been drinking. Is that fair?
Definitely in the Marine Corps.
I hear you.
The detective provides pivotal evidence, creating an undeniable connection between Stanley and the crime. Suddenly, a shift in his demeanor becomes evident as Stanley's confident tone abruptly softens. Perhaps it may be the calm and non-confrontational approach of the female detective that's unsettling him. Either way, Stanley's carefully controlled facade begins to crack, his composure visibly wavering.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
How many times did you shoot at her? Come on, man. If you really feel bad, let's start talking about
4.
it. 4 times? Okay. Let me ask you this. What kind of gun was it?
It had to be the 9mm.
Okay. You're a Marine.
Yes.
I know you know weapons.
Yeah.
I know you know what weapon you had.
Yeah. The 9mm.
Okay.
Actually, I was a rifle guy, so it was really
Let me ask you this.
AR-15s.
Did you shoot her with a rifle or a handgun?
I don't really move the rifle around.
Did you shoot her with a handgun? You shot 4 times. Let me ask you this. Were you trying to scare her or were you trying to kill her?
Scare her?
Okay. I can get behind that. Okay. We got to talk a little more details now. You know why? Because I'm going to have to sit there and say, he said he just tried to scare her, but he shot her. And they're going to say, well, this dude's a Marine?
That was years ago.
No. But this is what they're going to say. This dude's a Marine.
How'd you miss?
What kind of shooter was he in the Marine Corps? You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you, what kind of shooter were you?
Rifle expert, but we didn't really train on handguns, so it's
You and I
that
both
part's
know.
almost
You and I both know you're probably pretty good. Okay. But that's see what I'm saying? That's the part where it's like, if you're going to tell me something, I'm going to hold you to it. So if you're going to tell me you just tried to scare her, then show me the proof. You know what I'm saying? Show me the proof you just tried to scare her.
Where's the proof?
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What side of the car did you shoot into?
Passenger.
Okay. Do you have the driver's side? Do you have the passenger side?
Yeah.
If that's her car, do me
Yeah.
a favor and show me X's where you shot. Let's do it. This is the driver. Put the D right there. That's the driver's seat. Where did you shoot? Okay. And you shot 4 times?
I think so.
Okay.
It was so quick.
I know. Listen, it's important. It's important to know every single detail here because now you're telling the truth, and that's why it's important. When did you start following her and from where?
Addison.
Okay.
Her apartment, which she gave me the address. I didn't.
I hear you.
Okay, just checking. Because we had furniture delivered there. The address.
Clearly, we know what car you were in, right? What does her car look like?
Silver Hyundai 2012.
Were her windows up or down?
Up.
You follow her. Tell me the thought process behind this. Are you looking for a certain area to do this?
There's nobody else around.
Okay. Well, that's logical, and that's how I know you're telling me the truth. You know what I'm saying? Now we're getting somewhere, Stan.
Where were y'all at? Where did it happen at?
Very near where she currently works, over by Rick's.
Okay. Were y'all on the freeway?
No, we were off. Again, there was nobody, literally nobody else around.
Okay. What street were y'all on?
Almost at airports. Parkway Road, something? I forgot.
Okay. When you...
Aaron. Is that Aaron?
Okay.
Okay.
Is it fair to say you're not 100% familiar with that area?
Not at all.
Is it fair to say this area became the area because there's nobody around?
It's the area. Yes.
Okay.
Did you know that's where she was going? Or did you assume that's where she was going?
Yes, because I've traveled that route before.
Okay. Did she see you when you pulled up next to her?
I remember Oh my God. So I guess the answer is yes. Wait,
So she
whoa.
turned and looked at you.
Remember, she was staring at her phone. I don't know.
Okay. Which way did you travel afterwards?
Right by the strip club.
So did you follow the same direction that she went?
She went onto the interstate, and I went towards the strip club.
Did you go to the strip club?
No.
Where did you go?
Home.
So you drove straight home?
Yes.
Did you have your cell phone with you?
Probably.
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 And she had her cell phone with her.
Definitely.
Okay. Was your window up or down?
Down.
Your window was down, and you used what hand?
Right.
So this?
Yes.
Okay. And you fired 4 times?
Yes.
Okay. And what gun did you use?
A 9mm.
Did you stop anywhere after you shot her before you got home? Do you
No,
remember?
I don't think so.
As Stanley confesses to the crime, he continues to deny using the .45 handgun. Despite the detective's persistent use of both emotional and logical tactics, Stanley's refusal to acknowledge the usage of the weapon suggests an attempt to maintain a facade of control and shift the narrative in his favor. While he claims he shot Abigail only to scare her, the excessive number of shots contradicts his statement. This discrepancy becomes apparent soon, where his description of the weapon contradicts his earlier statements.
They were at the house.
Okay. Listen.
Actually, Mike had him in his possession, I thought.
Well, I don't know.
No.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
You've been honest about a lot of things, Stan. Okay, so let's continue.
Mike
to be
didn't
honest.
have...
Mike had.
Okay. I remember him talking to you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And after that,
Listen, here's the thing. You've done the hard part.
Sure.
The hard part's done.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a memory thing or what's going on, but I'm telling you, it's 45 is what it is. So put that in your memory bank here and tell us where a 45 is. Because the hard part's done.
sure, I don't have a 45 anymore.
That's fair.
Okay.
So where to go?
Back in Right. It's back in California.
Well, there ain't no way you got to California that quick.
No.
I'm saying after the shooting, where to go. If you pitched it, you pitched it. Ain't that?
I didn't pitch it.
No, let me tell
so to
you.
speak.
Let me say this: if you pitch this thing somewhere in the field and a kid picks it up,
Right.
that's
oh
on
my
you.
God.
That's on you.
Agreed.
So tell us where.
I
to
would
go.
agree with that statement.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
Where's the gun at?
Hey, listen.
Honestly.
So listen, it don't matter. If you want to give us a gun, you give us a gun, okay? But you understand that's a silly part. I'm telling you that doesn't make sense because that doesn't match the scene. You've already done the hard part. I'd like the people who are going to look at this go, oh, he's across the board telling us the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're here for. If you choose not to, you may have a reason. I don't know why, but you may have a particular reason why you don't want us to have that gun. Do you hurt anybody else with it?
Is the shell the same as the ammo the same as the empty box of ammo?
I don't quite understand what that means.
So they're labeled, whether it's Remington or whatever it
So
may
here's
be.
the thing. We have it on video. We can see the shot. We can see where it happens. And we can see the shell cases on the ground where it happened. We're not making it up. We're not just like, it's 45. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the evidence of the scene.
All you need is the...
And so it's one of those things. So I can't imagine that the slug we're going to pull out of here is going to be a 9
in
mil.
the car?
Huh?
Is it in the car? The truck? My truck?
I don't know.
Am I that mistaken?
Think about the quinky dink here. Think about the coincidence that you shoot her at that location and there just happens to be other 45s right there. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm saying...
Your gun, you mean?
Yes. Is it in my truck?
I hadn't heard that.
What brand of gun was it?
Sig Sauer. SIGSAUER.
Okay. You had a 6 Sauer there.
That is the black 9mm Sig Sauer. And Mike had the rifle, the AR-15, I think.
Okay.
So is the 45 in the truck?
I'm asking you. To be honest about it,
I don't think it is.
So this is what I want you to do.
Do you have access to the truck?
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
This is what I want to do. While you're sitting here, and as we're talking, and as you eat your hamburger, I want you to dig real deep to see if you can figure out where this damn gun is, okay? Because I can tell you right now, unless you shot 45 through a 9mm, which I don't think
It's
can
not
happen,
even possible.
Not possible.
then we got a big question mark in the middle of this interview, and I'd like to get rid of it. We're not going to sit here and beat you down on it, though, okay? That's up to you, man, if you want to break loose of that information. But like I said, like checking it off, dude. Check. Oops, question mark. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I'd like to put checks across the board on this.
All right. What else is not checked?
Just the 45, as far as I know right now, because you're answering everything else right on. Because here's the thing: somebody down the road might sit here and say, "Hey, well, but how could he be wrong? He's telling the truth. It was 9mm." Well, how the hell did he know exactly where she got shot? That's what I'd say. Okay, so if in your head you're playing any games with us, I'm telling you, don't do it, because I'm better at games. Okay, you're a Marine, but I'm a homicide detective. I've been a homicide detective for 14 years now.
I know where it is.
Where is it?
Trash can. So I put it in. I think I put it in the trash can, and then took the trash out.
At your
So it's in a
apartment.
safe. I mean, when you said whether or not a kid would access it,
Stanley's attempt to control the narrative falls apart when he finally admits to lying about the weapon. The detective shifts the focus from Stanley's story to the underlying motive behind the crime. He rejects Stanley's claim that he only wanted to scare Abigail. Instead, he exposes deeper emotions of jealousy, obsession, and betrayal that fueled his violent actions.
You know what scared the shit out of me is if somebody shot my tire. And I have no doubt you succeeded in scaring her for the few seconds she had after she was shot and then crashed.
and she drove off.
What would you do if somebody shot into your car?
No, but she drove off perfectly fine. I
You understand that people can be shot and not die like that.
instantaneously. Okay,
So you
I'll
know
give you that.
Come on. You're too smart a guy to be playing these games now. Come on, man. You tried to kill her. Okay. Listen, dude. That don't bug me. It is what it is.
Right.
You're starting to look like a human being, and then you just pull the rug right out from under.
Put it in reverse.
Yeah. You're right. I could have shot the tire.
Listen, you don't follow somebody from her apartment, drive all the way out here, find a location.
That's.
Again, I'm not done.
Go ahead.
Find a location where nobody's at. Scare her by shooting directly at the driver.
4 times.
Seriously?
You told me you did.
I know how many times
Okay, what are you talking about?
I hit her 4 times.
No, Jesus, you shot at her 4 times, you said. You said you shot at her 4 times. The only thing I've told you is 45, okay? That's all I've told you. Everything else, you've told me, okay? And now you want these people over here to believe that you didn't try to kill this young lady, even though you shot at her at the driver's seat. Not at the hood, not at her tire, not at the trunk. You shot directly to the driver. Now listen, you were pissed. You wouldn't have done this if you weren't drunk and pissed. Don't take that part away. But don't lie about the fact that you didn't try to kill her.
I was never.
Bill, let me ask this. Did you at least try to shoot her? Okay. You tried to shoot her. You've shot somebody in the past. You know it can kill them. Done deal.
Do you want to talk about anything else?
You feel bad?
Why?
I guess today I have feelings for her still, so.
And you killed her.
Do we always make bad decisions? No. Yes.
And then you threw away the gun
Yes.
to try to cover up that you killed her.
After I found out she passed.
Were you going to her house and checking and seeing if she was there daily? Like, what's
No,
the deal?
not daily. It was probably Maybe once every 4 days.
Okay.
And you can tell if the lights are on, the lights are on. If the lights are off, the lights are off.
So on Tuesday night,
Yep, they were on.
they were on. What time did you go over there?
7, maybe?
Okay. Were you there for long?
No. Maybe 10 minutes.
So you sat in the parking lot in your truck for 10 minutes
Yes.
and you watched
Waiting
her
for
apartment
lights.
with the lights on?
Lights on, yes.
Okay. And did she turn the lights off?
Yes.
So you knew she was coming?
Didn't know. I assumed.
You were hoping?
And then I saw the garage door open. And yeah, I followed her.
And then what?
And then I followed her.
You followed her?
We went there. Not we went there. Well, we did, I guess.
Sure. So you followed her in that. Did y'all stop at any other stoplights, street lights?
No, because it was all interstate driving.
Okay, so that was
Up
your
until that-
first opportunity.
And could have been the only one.
The only opportunity?
Maybe. I don't know.
So you
I mean, if the
could
light had turned green.
make sure that you shot and hit her
Nah,
at the
I don't-
stoplight. Stand
you're
up.
right. You're right. I see what you mean.
You knew you shot at her. You knew you shot her car. You knew she drove off.
Yes.
When did you find out she died?
The next day.
Okay. What did you think?
Well, if you get my phone, you'll see what I thought.
Okay, tell me.
Posting everything from this is horrible to calling friends and.
Though Stanley repeatedly tried to deflect blame and dodge accountability, it was his own confessions, spoken in fragments and contradictions, that became the undeniable truth and ultimately sealed his fate. There are no more acts left, only the certainty of punishment. In late October 2021, Stanley Zalaga was arrested for the cold-blooded murder of 22-year-old Abigail Saldana. After being found with self-inflicted wounds, he was quietly taken into custody at Tarrant County Lon Evans Correction Center and given a bond of just $250,000. No trial, no sentencing, no justice, just silence. It's been years, and he still hasn't faced the weight of the crime.